So Philly had a great season, but obviously they wet the bed there in that last series. Stephen A., you questioned Brett Brown's coaching throughout the series. What do you think should happen to him?
I think Brett Brown should keep his job. I think that people misconstrued what I was trying to say. I didn't say the whole series. I said the first 3 games. I stand by what I said. I thought game 1, they were ill-prepared. They had 6 days rest. They were not ready to play basketball. I thought game 2, when they gave up a 22-point lead near the end of the first half and allowed Boston to reduce it to 5, particularly being up 19 points with about 3:43 left, and not making any adjustments, not slowing the pace, not getting the ball inside to Embiid, not calling a timeout, etc. I thought that was not putting Markelle Fultz in the game in this entire series. I thought all of those things were highly questionable. Game 3, of course, we see the turnovers. Both were on Ben Simmons, inbounds pass, a put-back shot when he should have took the ball back out and ran down the clock. That's youth, but in the same breath, you're talking about coaching because you're coaching these young players, and you have to prepare them, and I didn't think that they were prepared for the first 3 games. But I want to emphasize, I don't think 3 games should define the career of Brett Brown with the Philadelphia 76ers. Considering the years of ineptitude that he was subjected to because he didn't have the talent, the first time he had talent to work with, what did these guys do? They won 52 games. They ended up as a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think that's to be respected, and I think he should have the opportunity to come back and coach these players again. Having said that, just because I feel that way, what I said specifically, and people misconstrued it, was me. My exact words on SportsCenter is that I'm not calling for him to be fired, but if he were to get fired, I wouldn't be surprised. Because if you are Brian Colangelo and you've got a Jay Wright right up the main line in Philadelphia that just won 2 national championships in the last 3 years, when you see the greatness of a Brad Stevens and how well he coaches and how well he's ingratiated himself with the younger players, and you are an old school executive, but you've been around long enough to see the new era and the new breed, and you're thinking about prolonging your tenure in the sport of basketball, sometimes you might decide to go the younger route as opposed to go old school. And so you have, I mean, think about what you said, Max. Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the other the young players that they have. Who wouldn't want the Philadelphia 76ers job? Everybody wants it. So if you're Brian Colangelo and you saw these things take place, you've been a longtime executive in Phoenix and Toronto, you know good coaching and you know when it's lacking when you see it. I don't believe Brett Brown should be defined by 3 games in a playoff series.
Let's go with that logic.
But I do believe that others might look at him and say, wait a minute, I'm looking at Brad Stevens and damn, I saw a schism.
Let's go with that logic.
Yes.
Basically, your argument is this. Brett Brown's a good coach.
Right.
Ran into a better coach,
right.
Brad Stevens,
yeah.
Right? Nothing wrong with that. There's only one champ, right? Right now,
I think Brad Stevens right now is the best coach in basketball.
That's right. Him
right
or
now.
Popovich. Right. It's one or the other. And I agree with you. If push comes to shove, based on the moment, probably take Brad Stevens. So it's not that Brett Brown can't coach. It's that he ran into a better one. Well, if that's the logic Colangelo's going to use, he's got to fire himself too. It's not that the combination of Hinkie and Colangelo are a bad GM. It's that Ainge is a better one. So if you're going to use the logic of good coach ran into a better coach, we need to get rid of the coach, then Colangelo also has to see good GM ran into a better GM, we got to get rid of the GM. I mean, there can only be one best, and right now,
but we both know that's not going to happen.
The reason you fear the Celtics, I'm just talking about in principle.
Sure.
The reason you fear the Celtics in the East, even though they don't have a Ben Simmons or a Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Sorry, no one on that team is that potential, right? But they got the brain power, period, in the Eastern Conference. It's concentrated in Boston. I love Masai Ujiri. The market hurts him in Toronto in terms of attracting talent. Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens is the 1-2 punch. So what do you do with Brett Brown? You keep him. Let me give you his best, and he hit on it. The first season where they were like, all right, Brett Brown, what do you got? Let's see you actually try to win games. The first time they told him that, he won 50 games and got to the second round of the playoffs. 52. First time, 52 games. And by the way, Ben Simmons has a broken shot. That shot, Kobe Bryant said it recently, has to be built up from the ground. Right? They have to rebuild Ben Simmons' shot. So the first time you try to win with a rookie whose shot you really need to tear down and build up, 52 games, and you could have won a couple of those games that you lost.